Good morning. Today we're going to keep reading with the Little Prince. Today I'm going to read a couple chapters, maybe three. This is our version in English for the Little Prince. Chapter 8 goes like this. I soon learned to know that flower better. On the Little Prince planet, there had always been very simple flowers, decorated with a single row of petals so that they took up no room at all and got in no one's way. They will appear one morning in the grass and will fade by nightfall. But this one had grown from a seed brought from who knows where, and the little prince had kept a close watch over a sprout that was not like any of the others. It might have been a new kind of apple, but the sprout soon stopped growing and began to show signs of blossoming. The little prince, who had watched the development on an enormous bud, realized some sort of miraculous apparition would emerge from it. But the flower continued her beauty preparations in the shelter of her green chamber, selecting her colors with the greatest care and dressing quite deliberately, adjusting her petals one by one. She had no desire to emerge all rumpled like the poppies. She wished to appear only in the full radiance of her beauty. Oh, yes, she was quite vain, and her mysterious adornment has lasted days and days. And then one morning, precisely at sunrise, she showed herself. And after having labored so painstakingly, she jumped and said, "Oh, I'm hardly awake. Forgive me. I'm still untidy." This is the little prince watching the flower, especially the flower, grow. But the little prince couldn't contain his admiration. "How lovely you are! Aren't I?" The flower answered sweetly. "And I was born the same time as the sun." The little prince realized that she wasn't any too modest, but she was so dazzling. "I believe it's breakfast time," she had soon added. "Will you be so kind as to tend to me?" And the little prince, utterly abashed, having gone to look for watering can, served the flower. She had soon begun tormenting him with her rather touchy vanity. One day, for instance, alluding to her four thorns, she remarked to the little prince, "I'm ready for tigers with all their claws." "There are no tigers on my planet," the little prince had objected. "And besides, tigers don't eat weeds." "I'm not a weed," the flower sweetly replied. "Forgive me. I'm not all afraid of tigers, but I have horror of draught. You won't happen to have a screen. An horror of draught? That's not a good sign for a plant," the little prince had observed. "How complicated this flower is." See, here is he is him ordering the flower that he say breakfast, and here is a tiger not eating weeds because they say flowers don't eat weeds. "After dark, you will put me under glass. How cold is where you live? Quite uncomfortable. Where I come from," but she suddenly broke off. She had come here as a sea. She couldn't have known anything other words. Humiliated at having let herself be caught on the verge of so naive a lie, she coughed two or three times in order to put the little prince in the wrong. "That scream? I was going to look for one, but you were speaking to me." Then she made herself cough again in order to inflict a twinge of remorse on him all the same. So the little prince, despite all the goodwill for his love, had soon come to mistrust her. He had taken seriously certain inconsequential remarks and had grown very unhappy. "I should have listened to her," he confided to me one day. "You must never listen to flowers. You must look at them and smell them. My perfume, my planet, but I didn't know how to enjoy that. The business about the tiger claw, instead of annoying me, ought to have moved me." And he confided further. "In those days, I didn't understand anything. I should have judged her according to her actions, not her words. She perfumed my planet and lit up my life. I should never have run away. I ought to have realized the tenderness underlying her silly pretensions. Flowers are so contradictory, but I was too young to know how to love her." See, this is the screen he was going to protect her with, and what? See, a lot of vanity in there on the flower. Let's go on chapter 9. In order to make his escape, I believe he took advantage of a migration of wild birds. On the morning of his departure, he put his planet in order. He carefully raked all out his active volcanoes. The little prince possessed two active volcanoes, which were very convenient for warming his breakfast. He also possessed one extinct volcano, but as he say, you never know. So he raked out the extinct volcano too. If they are properly raked out, volcanoes burn gently and regularly without eruptions. Volcanic eruptions are like fires in a chimney. Of course, on our Earth, we are much too small to break our volcanoes. That is why they cause so much trouble. The little prince also uprooted, a little sadly, the last bamboo shoots. He believed he would never be coming back. But all these familiar tasks seemed very sweet to him on his last morning. And when he watered the flower one last time and put her under a glass, he felt like crying. Goodbye, he said to the flower, but she did not answer him. Goodbye, he repeated. The flower coughed up, but not because she had a cold. That's when he was leaving. See, he was putting the glass on top of the flower. I've been silly, she told him at last. I ask you forgiveness. Try to be happy. Oh, here it is when he was. See, that's the whole planet. Here it is, we're cooking breakfast on top of a volcano. There he is raking the volcano. There's another volcano doing the same, and this is the flower. He was covering the flower with a glass screen. I've been silly, she told him at last. I ask you forgiveness. Try to be happy. He was surprised that there were no reproaches. He stood there, quite bewildered, holding the glass bell in mid-air. He failed to understand this calm sweetness. Of course I love you, the flower told him. It was my fault you never knew. It doesn't matter. You were just as silly as I was. Try to be happy. Put that glass thing down. I don't want it anymore. But the wind, my cold isn't that bad. The night air will do me good. I'm a flower. But the animals, I need to put up with two or three caterpillars if I want to get to know the butterflies. Apparently, they are beautiful. Otherwise, who will visit me? I have my own claws. And she naively showed her four thorns. Then she added, don't hang around like this. It's irritating. You made up your mind. You made up your mind to leave. Now go. For she didn't want him to see her crying. She was such a proud flower. Let's go in chapter 10. He happened to be in the vicinity of asteroids 325, 326, 327, 328, 329, and 330. So he began by visiting them to keep himself busy and to learn something. The first one was inhabited by a king, wearing purple and ermine. He was sitting on a simple yet majestic throne. And here's the subject, the king exclaimed, where he caught sight of the little prince. And the little prince wondered, how can he know who I am if he has never seen me before? He didn't realize that for kings the word is extremely simplified. All men are subjects. This is the king sitting on the purple throne in one of the asteroids that he went to. Approach the throne so I can get a better look of you, said the king, very proud of being a king for someone at last. Little prince looked around for a place to sit down, but the planet was covered by the magnificent ermine clock. So he remained standing, and seeing he was tired, he yawned. It is a violation of etiquette to yawn in a king's presence, the monarch told him. I forbid you to do so. I can't help it, answered the little prince, quite embarrassed. I had made a long journey, and I haven't had any sleep. Then I command you to yawn, said the king. I haven't seen anyone yawn for years. For me, yawns are curiosity. Come on, yawn again. It is an order. That intimidates me. I can't do it now, said the little prince, blushing deeply. Well, well, the king replied. Then I command you to yawn sometimes and sometimes too. He was sputtering a little and seemed annoyed. For the king insisted that his authority be universally respected. He would tolerate no disobedience, being an absolute monarch. But since he was a kindly man, all his commands were reasonable. If I were to command, he would often say, if I were to command a general to turn into a seagull, and if the general did not obey, that would not be the general's fault. it will be mine. May I sit down? The little prince timidly inquired. I command you to sit down, the king replied, majestically gathering up a fold of his ermine robe. But the little prince was wondering. The planet was tiny. Over what could the king really reign? Sir, he ventured, excuse me for asking. Oh, I command you to ask, the king hastened to say. Sir, over what do you reign? Over everything, the king answered, with a great simplicity. Over everything, with a discreet gesture, the king pointed to his planet, so the other planets, and to the stars. Over all that, asked the little prince. Over all that, the king answered. For not only was an absolute monarch, but an universal monarch as well. And do the stars obey you? Of course, the king replied. They obey me immediately. I tolerate not subordination. Give me a second, please. Thank you, sorry. Such power amazed the little prince. He had wielded himself. He could have watched not 44 but 72 or even 100, even 200 sunsets on the same day without even having to move his chair. And seeing he was feeling rather sad on account of remembering his own little planet, which he had forsaken, he ventured to ask a favor of the king. I'd like to see a sunset. Do me a favor, Your Majesty. Command the sun to set. If I command a general flight from one flower to the next, like a butterfly, or to write tragedy, or to turn into a seagull, and if the general did not carry out my command, which else will be in the wrong, the general or me? You will be, said the little prince quite firmly. Exactly. One must command from each what each can perform, the king went on. Authority is based first on all upon reason. If you command your subjects to jump in the ocean, there will be a revolution. If I am entitled to command obedience because my orders are reasonable. Then my sunset, insisted the little prince, who never let go of a question once he has asked it. You should have your sunset. I shall command it, but I shall wait, according to my science of government, until conditions are favorable. And what will that be? Inquired the little prince. Well, replied the king. First consulting a large calendar. Well, that will be around tonight, around 7:40, and you will see how well I am obeying. The little Prince John, he was regaining his last sunset, and besides, he was already growing a little bored. I have nothing further to do here, he told the king. I'm going to be on my way. Do not leave, answered the king, who was so proud of having a subject. Do not leave. I shall make you my minister. Minister of what? Of justice. There's no one here to judge. You never know, the king told him. I have not yet explored the whole of my realm. I'm very old. I have no room for a carriage, and it wearies me to walk. Oh, I'm already seeing for myself, said the little prince, leaning forward to a glance one more time at the other side of the planet. There's no one over here either. Then you should pass judgment on yourself, the king answered. That is the hardest thing of all. It is much harder to judge yourself than to judge others. If you succeed in judging yourself, it is because you are truly a wise man. But I can judge myself anywhere, said the little prince. I don't need to live here. Well, the king said, I have good reason to believe that there is an old rat living somewhere on my planet. I heard him all night. You can judge that old rat. From time to time, you will condemn him to death. That way, his life will depend on your justice. But you will pardon him each time for economy's sake. There is only one rat. I don't like condemning anyone to death, the little prince said. And now I think I'll be on my way. No, said the king. The little prince, having completed his preparation, had no desire to agree with the old monarch. If your majesty desires to be promptly obeyed, he should give me a reasonable command. He may command me, for instance, to leave before this minute is up. It seems to me that conditions are favorable. The king having made no answer, the little prince hesitated at first, and then, with a sigh, took his leave. I will make you my ambassador, the king hastily shouted after him. He had a great air of authority. Grown-ups are so strange, the little prince said to himself, and he went on his way. Well, I'm going to read those three chapters, and then I'm going to read chapter 11 tomorrow or the next day. Student, remember, be safe, be healthy, follow directions from your parents, stay on the safe side, wash your hands, and don't forget to wash your hand after you wash your hand. Okay? And I will see you soon. I hope you enjoy. Here's the little prince saying goodbye. See you later.